All right, thank you for tuning into Niaga AWANI. Right now, we're going to dive into where the topic is about scams. And as Malaysia accelerates its digital ambitions, a silent threat is rising, which is called online scams. And scammers now are getting more complex, where either they use AI to clone voices, mimic identities, and also skill deception like never before. So we have a lot to unpack here. Joining us right now is Julian Gorman, the head of Asia Pacific at GSMA. Good morning, Julian. Where we see in 2023 alone, over 32,000 online scam cases in Malaysia resulted in losses about 1.3 billion ringgit, so which is equivalent to a 37.5% of from the previous year, which is 2022. So to start, Julian, why are scams no longer just a consumer issue but a national threat to digital ambition in Malaysia?
Well, I mean, it's a good question you raised, Nabila. I mean, digital nations are built on trust, just as our physical society is built on trust. Moving forward to create sustainable, inclusive digital nations is really dependent on nurturing and curating digital trust so that everyone feels safe online. And with scams, the unfortunate thing is now so many people in the, whether it's people you know or people you love, have been a victim of scam, that actually just about everybody is starting to have some sense of, do they need to modify their behavior online? And so it's an incredibly important issue for the region, because you've got some of the fastest growing economies across ASEAN, including Malaysia, and they're being propelled by fast growing digital economies. So while there's overwhelming positive benefit from digital economies and digital transformation, the risk is that scams continue to erode or place at risk trust and place that vision of a digital future at risk, and could compromise the potential for the GDP growth, which, in the mobile economy, we estimate for the region in Asia Pacific is about 1.4 trillion by the end of the decade. That's a significant part of the economy, about 6.6% of the economy. And so to place that at risk by scam and fraud, it's not just about the personal loss. But although we should never underestimate the personal loss, because that usually involves financial, but it's also the embarrassment and the shame of being scammed, which is some of the things that we need to help also consumers and businesses overcome.
Like I mentioned, Malaysia is a growing economy, especially in ASEAN, but there is this thing called revictimisation, which is a growing trend as well, where victims are often targeted again. For example, these vulnerable groups like retirees, also students and also gig workers are bearing the brunt. So what does this say about the psychological and also systemic vulnerabilities in our digital ecosystem, Julian?
Well, it's unfortunate that the scammers are very technically capable, very advanced, and taking advantage of social engineering and gaps or weaknesses or people at risk in our society. People who maybe don't have the skills or are vulnerable through other reasons. And they're really professional about it, really. They're exposing those weaknesses, and it really is, there is a psychological impact that we really need to consider. And that's also to consider that actually a lot of the people who are perpetrating these scams are being people trafficked in scam farms in various parts of the region. And that also is unfortunate, as the region's attracting a bit of global attention about the level of scam production in the region. That altogether is risking our, the safety and security and the inclusiveness of our digital societies and nations.
Let's look at the global level now, where we see scams now cost the economy an estimated around 1.03 trillion US dollars, and Asia bears a disproportionate share. And in this context, telcos like Maxis and also CelcomDigi are stepping up defenses via GSMA's Open Gateway, which offers API or same rep swap detection and also real-time number verification. So, Julian, can you walk us through how do these real-time anti-scam APIs and also this SIM swap detection tools work to actually block the fraud? And can you share the quantifiable impact to date as well?
So, I mean, it's a good point you raised. So GSMA's Open Gateway program was a global program to create APIs, standardized APIs, to unlock the power of the mobile network for the ecosystem. And obviously there's strong demand for APIs that help deal with scam and fraud. And things like SIM swap, location, silent number verification are all APIs which the ecosystem can then access through easy open APIs standardized across the world, to include or integrate into their own risk algorithms or in their user experiences to mitigate fraud and improve the user experience and the safety online. on top of that, mobile operators across the region are innovating to help provide services that help consumers manage or protect them from fraud. Examples such as True in Thailand or Airtel in India, who are providing scam protection, spam filters. Airtel in India claims to stop about 99% of spams that coming using their AI scam filter. In Singapore, Scam Shield is another example of a service for consumers. Combined with the APIs, where the APIs are enabling the ecosystem, the combination is helping operators and ecosystem and government come together and unite to combat scam. And because that's really what needs to happen. It needs to be a collaborative and collective effort, because no single party has access to all the information to actually protect everything. But by working together, we can collaborate and address the growing scam threat.
But now let's look at the neighbouring countries. For example, we have Singapore, where the Scam Shield in Singapore has blocked or blacklisted nearly 319 million potential scam calls in 2023, and scam SMS has dropped by 70% in 3 months after Standard ID registry enforcement. So from this Singapore's experiences, what can Malaysia actually learn and from this multi-agency approach, and what are the principal challenges in adopting these tools in Malaysia?
I think that the greatest lesson to come out of the work in Singapore is how the government, the operators, and the parts of the value chain ecosystem work together to improve Scam Shield and its effectiveness. Scams actually vary significantly across the region depending on the country, because they take advantage of various social and cultural issues, accessing people who are most at risk. And so actually each country is about adapting the collaboration to serve and combat the scams that are popular in that country. So I'd say one of the, Singapore has had great success with Scam Shield. They also had significant growth in scam costs in the last year, estimated more than 70% growth, so even higher than Malaysia's growth, highlighting how important this is an issue for Singapore. But I would say the greatest lesson is to working together, and the government taking a very proactive role in helping unite the industry and the ecosystem, and everybody coming together in the forward-leaning position that this is something we need to address together.
So cross-sectors coordination plays a vital role, of course, but how is Malaysia's National Scam Response Centre, or NSRC, evolved to match the speed and also scale of these threats as a whole, Julian?
Well, I understand that centre is actually one of the leading areas, and there's already cross-border collaboration with some other countries like Singapore, and that's the same in the mobile industry. So we've created the cross-sector anti-scam task force, which is about uniting operators, government, and an ecosystem, including platform players across the region, because just working within a country is not enough. A big part of scams is cross-border, so it's important that we come together as a region. And that's why GSMA, we've launched or announced the ASEAN M360, which will start from next year, although following from the Digital Nations Summit, ASEAN edition, which will be in Kuala Lumpur in September, where scam and how the industry can work together with scam will be a big feature, because across the ASEAN footprint, actually all the operators have now joined the Open Gateway program. So we're working together, having a standardized portfolio. And it is a unifying, unfortunate risk that we need to work together. And so as ASEAN and Malaysia has been so important in announcing their Kuala Lumpur directive this year as chair of ASEAN, and the importance of a safe and secure and inclusive digital society, and that we need to work together. Our events also look to help be a platform to help track and navigate the journey for ASEAN. And we're so happy and honoured to be partnered with MCMC in Malaysia to be able to bring these events to Malaysia and be part of a regional effort to address scams.
Julian, it's okay to prepare for the worst, and I'm going to give you a situation where if Malaysia fails to actually decisively address scam threats, how might that impact Malaysia's My Digital Blueprint ambition to become a regional digital hub by 2030? And also, could investors and also users be deterred as well?
Well, I mean, it's important, with the mobile economy by the end of the decade, $1.4 trillion, Malaysia needs to compete and has the capacity to compete for a disproportionate share of that mobile economy. And so it's important that Malaysia has the vision to be a leader and has the potential to be a leader in creating a safe and secure and inclusive digital economy and making sure that people feel safe. And that provides a beacon or a reference point for the rest of the region to work together. And that's, again, why we're doing the M360 ASEAN and the Digital Nation Summit ASEAN in Malaysia, is because we want to also champion and reflect that effort that the Malaysian government is applying to this.
And when we talk about online scam, it's not just about stolen money, it's about stolen trust. Trust is the most important thing when we talk about scams. And without trust, the foundation of our digital future begins to crumble. So what happens if public trust in digital platforms collapses? And what point does trust become too damaged to rebuild? And who should lead the effort of rebuilding it, Julian?
Well, I mean, I think my mother was tried to be scammed not so long ago. I think most of us listening to your show probably know somebody who's been a victim or a potential or attempted victim of scam. And you've just got to ask yourself, did you modify behavior? I mean, I told my mum not to do certain things online. That is actually then starting to impact the potential of the mobile economy. So it's important that actually we protect and nurture, because actually if people are scared about going online, or scared of transacting online, then actually that is limiting the potential of an overwhelmingly positive impact of the mobile economy and the digital economy.
But there's this situation where we need to do some balancing, where policymakers have to be balanced between encouraging innovation and also enforce protections to actually avoid digital Wild West at the same time. So what do you suggest?
Oh, no, it's important that we work together. Again, we need to work together because regulation and policy really needs to be more adaptive. We have significant technology innovations happening every 2 to 3 years now. I mean, with AI, I think most people will consider that their lives are changing on a month-to-month basis. I mean, what you feel, what you can do through your mobile phone or through your smart glasses is changing on an almost daily basis. So it's important that policy and regulation nurtures innovation, is adaptive, is technology neutral, but make sure that we are protecting those who are vulnerable and making sure that we are including people. So that means making sure that people have the right skills and making sure that there's the right protections, but also allowing industry and the mobile industry to explore and innovate, to build the services that will also be part of the protection for consumers as we move forward.
Last but not least, Julian, we don't have much time, unfortunately, but is there anything for everyday users feeling overwhelmed, like our parents? What's your message about hope, and what proactive steps can actually individuals take part to be part of the solution at the same time?
Well, I think, we all grew up in a physical environment where we looked out and we protected the street. Like we looked to make sure there's not something happening in the street outside our homes. Like we take ownership of our neighborhood. And the same, the digital world, we own the digital world. Every person has a responsibility to protect. And if they see something, I mean, just like when you're catching the train or at the airport now, where people say, if you see something like a bag or something, you flag it, you tell people. It's important that we get to the point where people feel they own their digital nation, their digital society, and feel and have access to a way of notifying concerns or alarms. And then, so when it comes to your family, it's making sure your parents have the skills, the children have your skills, and they're aware. Just like you tell your children, don't talk to strangers, also, when they're online, don't talk to strangers.
So indeed, fighting scams is not just a technical issues, but it's trust issues and economic challenge as well, and ultimately a national challenge. So with a holistic approach from all sectors, we still have hope and have a window to turn the tide and build a secure and also trusted digital Malaysia, but only if we act now. So thank you so much to Julian for your time and also insights, and to you, thanks for watching, and let's keep digital safe in Malaysia.